What is going on, Chaotix? My name is Chaos, and today we are back with the PDL Season 3 postseason podcast, and today I am joined by my good friend, More2E5.
Hi.
He's there, cool. Damien
I'm
is...
ill as well, just
yes,
so you know.
yes. Damien should be coming at some point today. We don't know for sure or not yet, but he'll jump in if he can at this point, but we're going to continue on anyway. So I just want to say it's been a really fun season. I've really enjoyed Season 3. I think it's the best season so far of this league, and I was really excited to get to do all this stuff this season. It's been a great season, as I said. Really great competitors, really great matches, and I thought the season was actually pretty darn close, so it's nice to see that. Too, you got anything you want to comment?
I mean, from my point of view, it was quite a pointing season, again, but you know, it is me. I thought it was the most competitive season because the last two seasons, you dominated with brief, really. So, it was quite nice to see some new faces dominated it.
Alright, folks, with that all being said, sit back and relax as we jump into the PDL Season 3 postseason podcast. So if you guys have never been out to this podcast, we're going to be going over a few different categories for each of the teams and also crowning our champion for this season. We're going to go over the most kills, the best kill-to-death ratio, the best Pokemon we think from each of the teams, the best trade for the season, the best match, the best overall #1 pick, so the first pick for each team, best one of that, and also the worst pick for all the teams. So we're going to get started with the most kills, and we'll see how this works. So Damien actually was going to cover the third place zing here, and I will cover that myself. So in third place, the total of 10 kills is Magearna. Now Magearna was a really solid mon. We saw that on the Southampton Solgalios, if I can talk. It was a really good Pokemon. It put in a lot of work. The Steel Fairy typing is really solid, and this thing really put in a lot of work. Of course, if it gets a kill, Soul Heart gets it +1 at special attack, so it's gonna do a lot of damage and a lot of work.
Hello?
You're up, buddy.
Oh, it's me. Yeah, just sorry, I'm ill. Give me credit, I'm here. The second most kills was Mega Venusaur. I don't know who Mega Venusaur was on. Do you know who Mega Venusaur was on?
It's on Rhode Island Radicades.
Rhode Island Radicades. Neurotic Neutral Gaming's Mega Venusaur, which he called Jungle Jim, had 15 kills in 10 matches. Very used well. Jungle Jim did get 3 kills against me in week 3, so you know, have to respect, and then 2 against me in week 7, so half those kills did actually come against me, so awkward, but you know, good Pokemon. I think he knows how to use it well, so on the next one.
And for the most overall kills in this season of PDL, it should come as no surprise to you if you've watched any of the matches, but the most kills in this season goes to 18 kills by Mega Gyarados, which I had on my squad. Gertrude put in a lot of work this week, playing in 11 matches and getting 18 kills over the course of those matches. Getting some sweeps also throughout the season. We had a 6 sweep week 2 with Gyarados. Gyarados also put in some nice work cleaning up week 6 versus the Derby Dawn fans.
Oh, yeah.
And also put in some work everywhere else. So this was a really good mon. I thought it was really nice to bring on my team, and a lot of Pokemon really couldn't stand up to Mega Gyarados. So it was a really good mon for me, and it made the other opponents, I think, really have to work to calculate how to use this, how to go against this Pokemon this season. Next up is the best kill-to-death ratio. And guys, for the third place, it's a long one because we have a 3-way tie between Magearna, Infernape, and Superior, all sitting at a 5.00 kill-death ratio. These Pokemon all put in some really nice work, and as we already mentioned with Magearna, 10 kills in this season was pretty nice. You might notice that 2 of these mons are both on the Southampton Solgaleo, so very good job for Ender Mewtwo for using both of these very well and getting 5 kills with them. Of course, Infernape only dying once, as far as I know. Might have been, that might not be right, but I think it's correct. But either way, they're both sitting at 5, and they're both sitting at 5. Magearna 10 kills to deaths, Infernape 5 kills and 1 death. And then, of course, Superior actually putting in some really nice work for the New York Mets, getting 5 kills and 1 death at its time. And, of course, this thing was traded in week number 7, so you first used it in week number 8, and it put in some really nice work for the last couple matches of the season. So I think that was a really good trade late season for him, and it worked out really well.
Yep. And then with the second best KD ratio, we've got Hitmonchan of the Virginia Cavaliers, which was nicknamed Ali, where it had 6 kills and no deaths. So very, very good. So it has a 6% KD ratio for best in the league. That's a very good stat. Well done, Chaos, for using him well.
I gotta say, I'm really surprised that Hitmonchan was this good. I wasn't expecting it to do too well in this league, but I usually just ran it as a defensive pivot and also as a nice powerhouse on the offensive side sometimes. Pretty much it was just supposed to be my rapid spinner, but Hitmonchan actually proved that it can put in some work this season. And finally, with the best kill death ratio of the league, we have Lucario sitting at the number 1 spot with a 7-0 kill death ratio. It has got 7 kills and did not die this entire season, and also put off some really nice numbers, only playing in 3 matches, by the way. So same with Hitmonchan, both of those Pokemon played only in 3 matches and really put in the work. Alex was really crucial in week number 5 versus the Scarlet Strikers, putting in a lot of work, getting 4 kills that week, and also did a lot of damage against the New York Mets in week 7, getting 3 kills. And then, of course, being able to sit around and be on the back burner for some other games, because this thing really did a lot of work. I'm really excited to use it more, but it was a really cool Pokemon. I was really excited to use it. Anything you want to say about these kill deaths, Tui, before we move on?
Not really, no. It was a very impressive performance from Lucario and Hitmonchan and Superior, I believe it was, for how little match they played in. So, had they appeared in more matches, would we have seen some different stats? I don't know. But, you know.
And just if you guys are curious, Gyarados' kill death ratio is 3.0. So, just so you know that. But we're moving on to the next segment of this breakdown, and we'll be going over the best Pokemon for each of the teams in our own opinions. So we're going to start with the Virginia Escavaliers, then the Derby Dawn fans, then Southampton Solgallios, New York Mets, Rhode Island Raticates, and finishing up with the Scarlet Strikers. In this part, I'm going to be going over what Pokemon I think is the best. We're going to go to Tui, and then we're going to speculate on what Damien was, because he's not here and we can only speculate as to what he thinks. So let's get started with my team, the Virginia Escavalier, and what Pokemon do I think is the best? Well, it's kind of like picking your best child. I really had a hard time picking it here. I went back to the stats and looking at all my Pokemon, they all had really nice stats. Of course, Lucario sitting there with a 7-0 kill death ratio. Gyarados sitting with 18 kills, looks pretty solid. Medicham with 9 kills, also doing nice work. But I think it goes down to what really put in the work and what really made my team function in the last couple matches. And once I figured out how to use this thing, I think it worked really well. So I'm going to give that to Jirachi. Very odd pick for me. I know a lot of people are expecting Mega Gyarados, but I think Jirachi just put in a lot of work. I'm really excited I got to use this thing. I think the Psychic and Steel typing is absolutely phenomenal. Of course, if you've seen anything with Metagross, it does a lot of power, but Jirachi can run more defensively, and I think once I figured out how to run a defensive Jirachi, we really put in some work this season. This thing got Trick Room. It was my Stealth Rock user primarily on a lot of my final matches, so I give Jirachi a lot of credit for putting in some nice work. And I also made it Pokemon of the match for 2 weeks in a row, really helping me out with New York Mets in week 7, and also giving me some nice help there in the finals and the semifinals. So I think without this thing, I probably would not have won those matches, and it would have been a really great hard battle for me otherwise. So I'm really happy that Maximus put in the work this week and put in the work every week that I brought it. I'm really happy about it. I know it's only had 1% kill death ratio, sitting at 5-5, but this thing came 6 weeks and it really did a lot of work. So I'm really happy with Jirachi. I'm really proud of how it worked. So I'm going to shut up now and let Sui go ahead and talk about his pick, which I don't think will surprise anybody, but go ahead, Tui.
It was Gertrude, the Mega Gyarados. Now, what do you need to win a Pokemon battle? Kills. What did Mega Gyarados bring?
Kills.
The kills. So, you can't fault anything on Chaos Team, but you pick out Mega Gyarados because it's had 9 more kills than the next person on his team. Okay, it died 6 times. It also came the most times. It was played a match twice, 18 kills, and that I believe is a league record.
I believe you are correct there too. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had anything get over 12 before.
So it absolutely obliterated the record. And I saw firsthand the effect you could have if you let it set up on you. Whoops.
That was your fault, man.
Alright. It did kind of get 5 kills in the legendary 6-0 sweep of week 6. I'm not over it, by the way. So, yeah, I can't really fault. Mega Gyarados was superb and did obliterate me. Slightly. Only a little bit.
And for Damien's pick, he chose Jirachi as well. I think he probably would have said the same thing I said. I know he really likes the Steel Psychic typing. He really is a fan of Metagross. So I think he thinks this type would work really well. Jirachi is a pretty solid Pokemon. It can be run multiple ways, and I think that versatility is something that Damien would have talked about in his analysis.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Alright, anything else for my best Pokemon, Dewey?
Well, there was a couple of options, but I do believe Mega Gyarados was there.
And now it's time for your team, the Derby Dawn fans. As I said it correctly, you should be proud of me because it's spelled correctly. But Tui's team, of course, sitting at 1-9 this season.
It's an improvement, boys.
This is an improvement. I think you won a match last season, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh wow. Okay, maybe he didn't win a match last season. But he had some really nice Pokemon on the squad. Again, just to go through it. I know I didn't do this with my team, but going through Tui's squad, he has Goodra, Kangaskhan, Azumarill, Blastoise, Politoed, Mega Alakazam, Talonflame, Ampharos, Alolan Sandslash, Donphan, Dragonite, Magnezone, and Rockin' Dragonium Z. So, of course, you see a lot of dragons with that Dragonium Z. It really works well for the squad, I think, but I don't even think the dragons came close to being the best mons in your squad. You had some really nice powerhouses, of course. I'm looking at Mega Alakazam. I'm looking at Dragonite putting in some work. Really terrifying threat week 6, but was able to beat it. So, Blastoise also is really solid.
We don't need to...
He's got really good mons on the squad. I just don't think they worked out too well together. At some point, I think they could have been more diversified, and that's probably why the record stands. But I'm going to go with the best Derby Dawn fan being one of my least favorite Pokemon of all time, and that is being Talonflame. I really hate this thing. I really do. I really absolutely hate this thing. But Fire Flying, terrible typing, honestly. 4 times weak to Stealth Rocks, and that was probably a really big issue this season. I've seen some of the matches, and Talonflame just taking shots, coming in, losing half its health. Roost was a really solid play for most of the season, but this thing with its ability, just getting priority on flying type moves, really was a pain in the butt. It did not allow Gyarados to get a sweep week 6, so that is something to note. But really just a powerful offensive mon, and I really think it did a lot of work. Getting 7 kills in 9 matches, having one of the better kill-death ratios on your squad, and also being the highest Pokemon on your player of the match. So I really think Talonflame put in a lot of work this season and did a lot of good job battling against a lot of teams.
No, I disagree. As much as I love Talonflame on my team, and I do agree that typing isn't great, and I don't think any fire flying is any good. Charizard! I had to make that sort of shot. But, you know, I don't think Talonflame was my best. I think Dragonite was. Now, admittedly, its stats do not give it any credit. I know the stats don't look good, but if you look in the last 2 matches where I actually played quite well, I only lost by 2. Dragonite was a key part of it. Got 2 kills against his Scavaliers and 1 against the Met. Dragonite was actually key, and in all those matches, he actually got most Pokemon down to the red, and then Talonflame would kill it up because of the speed. because Dragonite will get taken down. And I think, if you think about it, most of the kills Talonflame's got were probably caused by Dragonite, so that's my reasoning.
Alright, and of course Damien decided to pick Goodra as his, so I think this was a really solid first round pick for you. It was something I actually was looking at before the season. That's something I wanted. I don't think it did the best work this season, so I'm really kind of wondering what Damien was going for here. But it did have a nice physical offensive. It could do offensive on the physical side or the special side, either way it wanted to. Only playing in 3 matches, only getting a kill this season, and only having 2 deaths. Not the best ratio, but I think with some more work and some more usage of Goodra, it really could be working, because this thing is really hard to build a team around. I can say that I was expecting Goodra in the matches I played against this squad, and thankfully it did not come. It would have been a little bit of a harder match, but I did prep for Goodra really, really intensely with my squads. So I think it was a really good Pokemon to have on the team, and really helped with the pressure in team building.
I'm gonna have to say I don't see what he was thinking here, in the best Derby Dom fan. I do have to say I liked Goodra, but I couldn't build my team around it. And I know I was trying to build my rain team, but I think, for example, Blastoise was a hell of a lot better than Goodra. And that's why actually Goodra's place on the team was, I don't think it appeared till from week 4 onwards. I don't think it made 1 appearance, except for week 8. And that's it. I don't see what, I mean, I can understand if you look at 3 matches had a kill and 2 deaths. You know, that's not too bad. But I'm not so sure. It wasn't. I think it could have been used better, but I know I wasn't the right person to use it. I didn't. Well.
Alright, Jay, this is your squad, so anything else you want to say about it?
Picking the best was like picking the best sports player in like the non-professionals. Like, it wasn't great. I played terribly this year. So, you know, it was a hard pick to pick the best Derby Dom fan, because they were all pretty terrible. Well, I used them terribly, so, you know, next season, Derby Dom fan season 4 champion.
You wish.
No.
But I want to say one thing for 2V's team, and 2V, I want you to take this advice very seriously next season. Fill your needs before you pick things.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. I made mine into a shirt.
Yeah, that's great. Alright, we're moving on now to the best Southampton Solgaleo. Man, this squad really is a very stellar squad. I think it's probably the best squad on here.
I'd agree.
It's really powerful. We got Necrozma, Magearna, Hydreigon, Infernape, Weezing, Galvantula, Barbaracle, Landorus, Therian Form, my boy Lando T, Miltank, Mega Sableye, Cryogonal, and Ludicolo. So this thing's got a lot of powerful offense on it. You can see things like Magearna, Hydreigon, Infernape, Landorus putting in some offensive work if it wants to. Ludicolo and Cryogonal both. Cryogonal is a really solid rapid spinner, which it's really underrated as a rapid spinner. So, in my opinion, got some nice defense in Weezing and Miltank and Sableye sitting up there, and also a great way to keep passive off the field with Mega Sableye. It's one of the best things to do that. But it's a really solid squad. You can see some 10 kills for the Magearna. A lot of the Pokemon having more than 1% on the kill-death ratio, despite losing 4 matches this season. So I think he did a really good job this season playing, and really had a good blast playing against him. So for my best pick for this squad, I have to go with this Pokemon, because I think it has to be the best Pokemon in the squad. It has the most kills. It is Magearna. It also has a really nice kill-death ratio at 5. I cannot say enough about Magearna. It caused me to lose my first match of the season against this team. Without the Magearna on the squad, I easily would have been able to. I think I would have easily been able to fix that match, but dude, just letting it get so hard up on me was not good. Also, having it set up on me, not the greatest thing in the world either. And also, it was really tough playing against this thing. Like, this thing I had to prep for really hard, and I really put a lot of work in the preps for the last couple matches I played against this squad. Because this thing is a powerhouse. It just wrecks through teams. Like, if you get this thing one shift gear, it pretty much just destroys the rest of the game. So, I can't say enough about Magearna being a good Pokemon, but I'm going to let 2V take over from here. So, go with your pick, buddy.
As much as I think Megana was good, I decided to go for Lando T. Which he nicknamed Meta. It appeared in 7 matches and got 7 kills, 4 deaths, and 2 Pokemon of the matches. I have to say, although I think Megan's going to get a lot of the praise for this team, I thought Lando T was a key part if it came to most matches on his team, Child of Cryogonal and Garantula. So I feel that Megan, although good, only appeared in 4 matches, which does make its kill record even more impressive. I just feel that Lando T was much more of a key player, and remember, it was a tier 1, and it was a well-executed late round tier 1 pick. I have nothing but praise for it. What was Damien's pick?
Damien's pick, he went with Magearna as well. Of course, the setup, the typing, it's just a really good Pokemon. So if you want to go on about it, you can.
I've got nothing really more to say about it, to be honest.
Alright, then anything else you want to say about the Southampton Solgalios this season as a squad?
So much potential. Week 2 obviously never actually happened for him. So really, I think it could have been 8 or 3. Had a very solid season, fell a little short.
Alright, now we get to move on to the Mew York Met and Coach Super Mew. Again, we gotta look at the squad. So his full team is Mimikyu, Porygon 2, Gengar, Ditto, Savali, Vaporeon Superior, Zygarde 10%, Cresselia, Megalopunny, Sylveon, and Clefairy. He did have Oricorio and Salazzle earlier on in the season. Both of those were traded away. As I said, this team looks really good too. A lot of physical offense with Mimikyu. Gengar also puts well on the special side. You have tanks like Vaporeon and Cresselia to hold off the defensive side. Megalopunny and Zygarde 10%, putting in a lot of power. And Sylveon is one of the best fairy types out there. So I think this team was a really solid team. There's a lot of ghost types and a lot of non-variety on the squad. So that's something I would look at maybe next season. But other than that, he played really well. 8-3 is not something to scoff at. Getting a couple good matches this season.
Chaos, by the way, you've got Viridine and Raticates on the screen.
Do I?
Yep.
Well, maybe I messed up the thing.
I think you did.
I did? I did. Okay, so we're going to the Rhode Island Raticate. Sorry about that. We'll talk about Mew in a minute. My bad. Thank you for pointing that out, too. I really appreciate it. So we're going to talk about the Rhode Island Raticates and Coach Neurotic Neutral Gaming. I will talk about Mew. Don't worry about it. He's next. Don't worry about it. But the Rhode Island Raticates have Volcarona, Mega Venusaur, Fortress, Thundurus, Incarnate form, Comfey, Araquanid, Umbreon, Hitmontop, Rhydon, Toxicroak, Slurpuff, Persian, Alolan form, and of course, your boy Guzma with Bugadium Z. So, a really solid team, putting on 4 and 6, doing pretty solid, rocking that nice middle of the pack for most of the season. Of course, we've already talked about Mega Venusaur being a really nice powerhouse, despite the fact that it's more of a defensive mon. So, that's something really cool that he did. Of course, very powerful offense in Volcarona, Thundurus. Araquanid really puts in a lot of work. Toxicroak also is pretty powerful as well. Then you got some nice, more defensive side Pokemon like Rhydon, Umbreon, sending back there Comfey for nice healing, and Clerics. And then, of course, you have your Spinners in Fortress. So, it's just a really good-looking squad, I'd have to say. Probably one of the better ones in the league. I have to say that right now. But as I've mentioned up already, we'll get to the best Rhode Island Raticate, and that is going to be, for me, and all of us, the Mega Venusaur. It's just such a good Pokemon.
It was so good.
It was just so good this season, yeah.
Would have had the record for most kills if Gertrude didn't happen.
Yeah. But,
mainly if I didn't get swept.
But Venusaur put in a lot of work. It's a really great defensive tank, great typing, great ability for Omega with Thick Fat, getting rid of 2 of its weaknesses in Fire and Ice. So really this thing is only weak to Poison, not Poison. It's only weak to Psychic and Flying, so it really made some teams work to fight it off. And of course, as you can see from the stats, 15 and 5 with a 3 kill death ratio. Player of the match 3 weeks in a row. Player of the match 3 weeks. I think this thing did really solid this season, and definitely highest on this poll.
I agree with you on every single thing you said about Venusaur appeared. Team chat. Was regular in the team. Was it carried this team, really. Let's be honest. Carried the team. I don't know where he would be without Mega Venusaur, but was carried by it, by Jungle Gym. Was consistent, and in my mind, was one of the best Pokemon in the league, and would definitely be up there for MVP.
Alright, so anything else about the Rhode Island Eradicates?
Very good team. Just, your boy Guzma, really.
I want to give a nice shout out to Narada Official Gaming here. A really great player. He played really solid in the last couple matches we played against each other. I really enjoyed playing against him. I think he's one of the better battlers in this league, despite his record. But I really enjoyed battling him, so I hope to see him very, very soon for some more seasons, and I hope he comes back for that. So, of course, I hope all the coaches come back. But you know, I really enjoyed playing against Neurotic. We had some really good matches this season, so I really enjoyed playing him. Now to what I was already talking about, the best New York Met, and I've already went over the squad, but I'll do it again for you. Mimikyu, Porygon 2, Gengar, Ditto, Savali, Vaporeon, Superior, Zygarde 10%, Cresselia, Mega Lopunny, Sylveon, and Clefairy, switching out to Lazo and Oricorio during the season with Ghost Dating Z as its Sea Crystal. Offensive threats, Mimikyu, Zygarde, Lopunny, Sylveon, Gengar. Defensive side, more Porygon 2, Savali can be run defensive, Cresselia, of course. So, we already went over all that stuff, but just so you guys know. And what is the best New York Met? Well, I'm glad I didn't spoil my pick, but the best New York Met for me has to be Ditto. This thing is a pain in my butt, and really, I hate it so much. It's one of my least favorite Pokemon of all time as well. And Mew did not help out that this season. Ditto playing 8 matches, getting 6 kills, 5 deaths. Pretty solid for a Tier 5 Pokemon, just going to say that. It's not going to be Tier 5 next season, fun fact. Best 2 player of the matches for this team, the only other one being Cresselia, and I think it has better stats and also put in more work for other teams. So this has got to be the best pick. I think this thing really brings a lot to the table, coming in and copying your stat changes and also running Choice Scarf, and you know it's a little bit busted in my opinion. So I think he did a really good job picking this thing, and you know, I know he really likes this Pokemon, so shout out to you for using it.
I have to admit the fact that if you remember all the way back post-draft podcast we did, all 3 of me, you, and Damien, we all mocked him for this pick quite substantially.
We did.
And we were all made to look like right idiots. Well, actually, I wasn't, because I don't think he came against me. But you know, he still beat me.
All right, your pick, man. Let's go.
As much as I think this was, I went for Mega Lopunny, because Mega Lopunny led the team. Led the team in kills. Had a few kills. But led the team in kills, and averaged a game pretty much every other game. A kill every game. It's very solid in all of the matches. It appeared absolutely whooped my ass. And I have nothing but praise for him, and I'll move on to Damien.
I'm glad you cut out there, because I was going to yell at you. But here we go. Damien's pick is also Ditto. Again, really solid Pokemon. You want to say anything else about it? Because I'm not going to do.
It was, I have to admit, Mew, best pick of the season in one of the better picks. All right, we all mocked it.
Good.
Yeah.
Anything else about the New York Mets before we move on to our final team?
Good team, one of the best records, great battler. Good luck if you battle next season, and we will beat you, I promise.
Alright, and our final, last but not least, actually, it had the worst record, so I can kind of say it's least. We got the Scarlet Strikers here, and my coach for this team, Brian, the Soul of Cthulhu. Either way, he had some really nice Pokemon. So what does his squad look like? He's got Rotom, Wash, Snorlax, Mamoswine, Alolan Golem, Ferrothorn, Skarmory, Sneasel, Zebstrika, Kingdra, Decidueye, and Magmortar, and also Mega Altaria with Normalium Z. He wanted Snorlax Z, I think that's how you say it. Of course, he did not read the rules, but that's a different story. His squad, pretty powerful, honestly, not gonna lie. Really strong offensive threats in Rotom, Snorlax if he set it up, Mamoswine, Zebstrika, really powerful. Kingdra, the Decidueye, pretty solid too. Magmortar, big pain in the butt, tier 5. Dude, that thing is a nice steal at tier 5. And then really good defensive mons too, like maybe Alolan Golem, if it's not against the ground type. Snorlax again, Rotom Wash, Ferrothorn, Skarmory, nice for setting up hazards and also getting rid of hazards with Whirlwind. And then you have really fast things like Sneasel that can put in some really nice damage with like Choice Band or something like that. But as for the best Pokemon, even though this is a 1-9 team with the worst differential of the season, he did some really fun things, and I really like this Pokemon for him, so I'm going to go with Magmortar. It was a real pain in my butt. Solid steal at tier 5, I have to say. It's going to be nerfed next season, I promise. But it was a really solid pick. I think this thing put in a lot of work. Has great move pool, great special stats, also can tank some things, and also is fast enough that it can play with the big boys in the speed tier. So I think this thing was really underrated. I'm glad someone picked it up and showed me how good it was, because it's going to get buffed. It's going to get nerfed next season, no doubt. I think it just works really well, and it put in a lot of work against my squad. So I can say firsthand Magmortar was really solid for this team. And I do believe it had the best kill-death ratio in the squad, tied with Snorlax maybe for 1%. 4 kills, getting the best Pokemon of the match, 3 weeks. Really putting in some nice works this season. So I'm going to say it was a really solid Pokemon and move it over to Tui and Damien's pick because they're the same.
Yep, we both went for Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn was an absolute pain. It's special defense that once used Iron Defense and Defense that as well. When you set up, you're not going to get anything wrong. And it will set up spikes, it will remove spikes, it will remove everything. It was dominant against me. And against a lot of Busters actually. Although it didn't get as many kills, well, I think it led his team, it did, in kills. He had 4 kills, led the team in play matches. Oh, no he didn't, sorry, he had 2 play matches, Magmortar had 3. Was very solid, couldn't take nothing away from him, and I think Damien was looking at the fact, I think he watched my battle before he made a decision, realised I got absolutely destroyed by it, and yeah, I can't fault the pick, absolutely superb pick, and the steal, and that actually quite late in the draft really, for you expect Ferrothorn to go.
Alright, anything else about the Scarlet Strikers you want to say, my friend?
Thank God you're in the league, otherwise I'll be bottom.
I knew that was coming. But that is going to be the wrap-up of the teams. So we're going to go to our best match, our best trades, and our best pick for the first round, and the worst pick overall for each team. So we're going to move on, and let's talk about the best match of the season. And all 3 of us picked the exact same match because it was a classic if you have not watched it already. It is the match, the Virginia Escavaliers versus the Rhode Island Raticates in the semifinals. The top 2 team in the league versus the number 4 team in the league. And these 2 teams really went off. This is a really close match, really solid throughout the game. As someone who was playing in the match, this was really, really difficult for me. I hated playing this match. It was something I couldn't, like, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. As Tui and Damien, I was on an adrenaline rush at the end of the match. I was just sitting there so hyper, so pumped. Really good match, and this is one of the reasons why I want to see Neurotic Neutral Gaming come back next season, because he and me, our matches are really solid. Really close match, came down to the wire. I believe he had me at 1-3, and Hitmonchan just put in the work, getting me the nice win there. It was really rough. Of course, Mega Venusaur putting a lot of work for his team, and his Alolan, Persian, Gesundheit. Both of those Pokemon put in a lot of work, and of course the Hitmonchan versus Hitmontop battle was pretty solid, one for the ages. And you know, it was a really close match. It was a really solid match. I believe at some point I'm like, man, he just won. He just totally destroyed me. I think I had my Hitmonchan left, and I'm like, I'm looking at Mega Venusaur, Alolan Persian, and Hitmontop versus Hitmonchan, and I'm like, there's no way I'm winning this battle. And somehow, Lady Luck was on my side, and we won. So I want to say a nice shout out to my man, Neurotic Neutral Gaming, for this battle. It was such a great one. One that I will always remember, and one that I will always cherish. Something that taught me a really good lesson not to underestimate or not to get overconfident in my play strategy and just play the match and roll with the punches. So thank you for keeping me humble, my friend, and thank you for battling this season. And thank you for this match. I really did enjoy it. Tui, you're up.
There's nothing I can say that can give this match credit. This was a banging match. I remember spoke to you straight after this match, and you told me that match was amazing. And then I went and watched it, and I can say nothing but, oh my lord, was it a match? If you haven't watched it, pause the podcast, go watch it now.
No, don't pause the podcast. We're not.
Watch it after
you
the
can watch it
podcast.
afterwards. All right. Anything else about this match, too, you want to talk about?
Full respect to both competitors, and I would like to see a remake next year.
I would love to see this first week next season. No, I don't know. That's up to the number generator. But next up is the best trade of this season. Of course, there were a lot of trades this season, less than it has been in the past. I'm really proud of Tui not trading it all the season, sticking it out with the squad, as well as people like the Rhode Island Renegades not trading anything, or Scarlet Strikers. But for the Virginia Cavaliers, the Southampton Swagalios, and the New York Mets, we all traded. So the trades this season, of course, one that we're not probably going to ever talk about is my trading of Z Crystals in Week 1 for Titanium Z for Fire Z, which is something I never got to use. I brought it a couple weeks. I wanted to use it so bad against some squads, I just never got to use it. So it's sitting there, but I did trade for that. We also traded Absol for Hitmonchan in Week 2 and received Hitmonchan in Week 3. Nidoqueen also was traded for Shaman in Week 5 and got Week 6. The Southampton Sogalios traded Kepleon for Alolan Exeggutor in Week 7. And then in Week 8, they traded the Exeggutor for Ludicolo. So that was a really nice and fast turnaround. And then we got New York Mets trading Salazzle for Superior in Week 7, getting it in Week 8, and then Clefairy and Oricorio later than that in the season, Week 10, I believe. And what a great trades we've got going on here. So it's been a season of trades. It's been a season of really good trades. I got to say that too. So it's hard to give my pick, but you know I'm a little biased to my MVP. One of my MVPs of the team. It was really hard not to pick this as my best Pokemon because it did so much work, and had a really good kill death ratio as well. I'm gonna go with Hitmonchan, man. It's such a solid Pokemon, as you've seen this season, folks. Having a 6.0 kill death ratio as a defensive Pokemon, only playing 3 matches and getting 6 kills. Definitely winning the MVP for the semifinals, putting in a lot of work in that match, getting 5 kills in that single match. So, really did put in a lot of work. And even though it only got really the kills in that semifinals match, this thing did a lot of pressuring and also weakening of teams. So I think Hitmonchan really put in its work and also gave me a really cool rapid spinner that I needed for the squad. So I was really happy in choosing this thing. And also I really wanted to draft it instead of Absol in the draft, but I thought Absol would give me a little bit of an edge, which it did in one of my matches. I believe that was Week 2 that it gave me a little bit of an edge in. And I was really excited to use this thing, and I really wanted to, so I'm glad I got the chance to use Hitmonchan this season, and I think it worked really well for my squad.
I agree with you. I thought that train was one of the better ones, but I went for Shaman Week 6. We traded Week 5 and was received in Week 6. The reason I went for it is because if you look from it, it was ever present in the team in the rest of the regular season. It was there. The fact that it was in trade, didn't get many kills, but it also didn't die very often. It only died twice. So I think it was key in keeping Chaos in battles because it could set up, it could poison, it could put you to sleep, do so much, set up leech seed, do a lot. So that's why I think Shane was the best trade. Oh, I don't know what thing he went for.
Yeah, I think it was really. I want to say something about Shaman too. I didn't use Nidoqueen at all in the season. I'm like, man, I don't want to waste the slot. And you know, I wanted something more defensive for the team. I had Muck and Regirock as my defensive sides, but both of those pretty weak to ground. So I wanted something to counter that, and Shaman just worked really solidly. Really powerful Pokemon too, and I was really happy to use it. So Shaman always has been one of my favorite mythical Pokemons, and now it's just really great for me. And Damien, I don't know what he's thinking here, but we're going to talk about it because it's on the layout. You're going to see it. He chose Clefairy as his trade of the of the season. I don't see why Clefairy did nothing this season. It only came to the semifinal match and died. So I think it was more of a meme than anything, but definitely not anywhere worthy. I think my Z Crystal trade was better than this trade, honestly. So that's just my opinion on it.
It was a terrible trade, and it was a meme trade. We all know it. I don't know what he was thinking there, to be honest. I can't really give him an answer.
Alright, anything else about the trades, my friend?
I'm proud of myself that I didn't do one.
I think you should have done one, but I'm proud you didn't do one either.
Well, because I think the last 2 seasons I've led the league in trades of stupidity.
All right, folks, and now we get to move on to the best overall worst pick. I think I missed a slide here. Did I? I might have. Do let me know if I missed a slide. Did I miss a slide?
Yeah, yes you did.
Okay,
Best round one pick.
So we'll talk about this. It's not on the slide. Sorry, I left out a slide. My bad. But the best round one pick. We gotta talk about it. I'm gonna take a look at the draft real quick so I can talk about it. I missed this in the slide, so bear with me. It's gonna be on this slide. So the picks for first round. Virginia S Cavaliers chose Garchomp. The Derby Dawn fans chose Gudra. The Southampton Solgallios chose Necrozma. The Rhode Island Raticate chose Volcarona, and the New York Mets chose Mimikyu, and the Scarlet Strikers chose Rotom Wash. So those are the 6 Pokemon chosen. Garchomp, Gudra, Necrozma, Volcarona, Mimikyu, and Rotom Wash are the 6. I think these Pokemon really did some work. A little disappointed in my pick, and surely Garchomp I think is a pretty solid Pokemon, but it's just so weak to Ice, and it just doesn't do much. I did let it do some stuff in a couple matches though, so it still put in some nice work. It just wasn't what I needed for a first round pick. Gudra also did not come very often. Wasn't a great Pokemon that used this season. And as you already mentioned to me, you just think Blastoise probably did the job a little bit better than Gudra did most weeks. Necrozma very solid as well. Volcarona very powerful and very fast. You gotta talk about that. Mimikyu very powerful. Also that nice ability Disguise gives you a nice free turn to set up a Swords Dance if you want to, or you can just switch out and do some fun stuff like that. And then Rotom, a nice, really good defensive switching Pokemon. So some really solid picks later on in the first round. But I'm gonna have to give my pick to the Southampton Solgallios and Necrozma. Now this thing was absolutely a beast when I battled it. Necrozma is a little underrated in my opinion. I think tier 3 is a little bit low for it, honestly, but that's just my opinion. Getting a nice solid 1 kill death ratio with 5 kills, 1.66, sorry. 5 kills, 3 deaths this season. No player of the matches, but this thing really could put in some work. It can be run physical, it can be run special, it can be run defensive, it can be run under Trick Room, it can be run with the Choice Scarf if you want to. It can be run so many different ways, and I just think this was such a vital part of his team. Something that didn't get to be talked about a lot, and I know you mentioned it in the chat already, Ender, but I think Necrozma was a really solid pick for your squad, and I'm glad to give it some love here in the best round 1 pick. 2, you're up.
I'm going to have to say, I don't think any of us did a particularly standout round 1 pick. I think the aces really came in the second round. That was the best round by picking, in my opinion. But I went for Garchomp of the Virginia Cavaliers. I thought there was a couple of close calls. Mimikyu I like. But I did like Garchomp. It didn't come very often, but when it did, I always felt it made an impact. It only died in 2 out of the 7 matches that it appeared in. That's quite a good ratio. Admittedly, it only got 3 kills, but I still feel played a key role on Chaos's team. I think it's a good overall pick. But I do stand by it wasn't really an amazing round 1 pick.
And Damien decided to go with Mimikyu. As I said, it's a really solid pick. Very powerful offensively. That ability is really nice. Getting you one free Sword Dance, so 1 free +2 in attack. Shadow Sneak also if you want to prioritize moves. This thing can be really powerful. And, I knew it was going to be a first round pick from you, or it's going to be a high round pick from you because he really likes this thing. And also, he uses it pretty darn well. So, I just think Mimikyu was a little underwhelming this season, according to its stats. Only getting really a little over 1% on the kill death ratio, only coming in a few matches. I definitely think some of his other mons put in some more work for the team this season. And, it's still not a bad Pokemon. I don't think it put in a lot of work that it needed to this season.
I do agree with you on that, to be fair. Shall we move on to the worst pick now?
Alright, we're going to move on to the worst pick. You guys have been seeing it on the screen. Sorry, I did not put the round 1 pick in there. But we're going to talk about worst picks, and of course, this just goes to who we think didn't do their job this season. Something I want to mention, because I'm not going to actually put it on the layout, but I'm kind of disappointed in Garchomp a little bit. That's probably what I would say one of my worst team members was this season, despite it being a first round pick. 2E's team, yeah, I'm just mostly disappointed in that. In general.
Oi!
There's not too much on the Southampton Solgallios to complain about, really. The New York Mets, nothing really too bad to complain about. I would say Clefairy is a pretty stupid trade. I know it was memes, but it's pretty dumb. And then you got Rhode Island Eradicates. I don't think there's anything really terrible about this team with pick-wise. And Scarlet Strikers, not too bad either. But I'm going to have to give my worst pick to 4 things, actually. The most things that anybody picked. And the 4 worst picks on my team, for me, were Azumarill, Kingdra, Alolan Golem, and Umbreon. All because they did not go to a single match this season. They sat on a team and did not get used. And most of them have really... besides Alolan Golem, the rest of them have really nice potential in teams. Azumarill, really powerful, huge power. Water Fairy typing, 2 of the best offensive types in the game. Also, pretty fast with Aqua Jet. You get this thing set up with a Belly Drum, it can wreck squads with Aqua Jet. So that's something to take note of. I'm really disappointed that Tui didn't get to use it. Really bugs me. Kingdra, also very powerful, really good typings, but for defensive. Water and Dragon, really nothing good against it besides Fairy. So really solid Pokemon, unless you bring Freeze Dry, which I did have on some of my teams. But I think Kingdra is really solid as a Pokemon. I'm really upset that it didn't get used this season. I think it's just a really solid Pokemon, really powerful, and really put in some work. It just didn't get used. Alolan Golem, it's 4 times weak to ground, so it's not great, and that's probably why it didn't come this season. But, I think it could have been traded away for something a little bit better. And, of course, why Umbreon? Why is Umbreon on this? Like, Umbreon is such a great defensive tank, so great at its job. I mean, it's you know what it's going to bring. It's typically going to bring Foul Play, Toxic, Protect, and Wish. That's the typical set. But Umbreon is so great in its job and what it does. It's a really awesome defensive tank. Like, literally, if you guys have seen my Coliseum playthrough, like, literally, I left it in against a fighting type, and it was a super powerful fighting type move that probably had around 200 plus base stat attack, and Umbreon just tanked it. Like, no defensive training at all, just tanked the fighting type move. And that's what this thing can do. It's really powerful, really great defensive wise, so I'm really disappointed. And also, as one of my favorite evolutions, I'm really disappointed that it didn't get used more.
I think the worst pick this year goes to myself and Azumarill. It's such a bad pick that I actually forgot I had it on my team. It's such a good Pokemon, I just forgot it was there, and I do wish I'd used it. But as Cal said, it's a great Pokemon, and I agree with him on the 3. It was a mistake on my part, I'll admit. So, worst pick, just put picture of my face in.
And
terrible.
And Damien decided to go with Azumarill and Slurpuff. Now, as we've already badgered Azumarill, it's one thing that all 3 of us have in common on our squads. I don't understand Slurpuff as much. I think this is a really solid pick, actually, for the squad.
I agree.
I forget, I think Rhode Island Eradicates had it, yes. Slurpuff is really cool. Something that really caught me off guard is I figured out it can be run special, so that is something to note of this thing. I thought it was basically just a Belly Drum sweeper type, but apparently it can run special attacks too, so it's great. And it's a pretty solid Pokemon in my opinion, but I just don't like the design, and maybe that's what Damon's going for here, but we're talking about statistical numbers and not general looking of the Pokemon. So, anything you want to comment, Tui?
Slurpuff, because I actually agree with you, I thought it was a good Pokemon, but I do agree with Azumarill, as it was mine.
Do I have
oh, hello.
on that one?
What the heck? What the heck? Damien's here. Hey, Damien, what's going on?
Sorry about that, guys. Kind of got caught up and I kind of passed out last night after doing all my work.
Right. Well, explain your worst pick.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
My worst pick. What do I even have down?
Azumarill and Slurpuff.
Okay, Azumarill and Slurpuff. Azumarill for many other reasons. For simple fact of it is, it kind of got destroyed in most matches it even came out in. Basically, 98% of the matches that Azumarill was put out in, it just served to get destroyed or have little to no effect on the match. for Slurpuff, it's just based on, when you see it and then you immediately don't. It wasn't really used. It really wasn't, put out as, a main focal point. It's more used for Canada.
Yeah. Azumarill didn't appear in a match, though.
Yeah. I put all the Pokemon who didn't appear in a match, folks, so that's my go. Alright, and now we get to move on to the champion of the regular season. So this is just a statistical number. I'm going to let Damien go ahead and announce the champion of the regular season of this league. Damien, go ahead and announce the champion of the regular season.
Of this season of the PDL is our very own Chaos.
Hey, look at that. Very close, I got to say that. Very close this season. I believe we all had the same kill. They all had the same total. It was 8-2 going into the finals. So we all had 2 losses, all had 8 wins, and it came down to differential. I just ended up having, I think, about 12 more than Mew had, and it was really close between Ender and Mew for differential. They were pretty close as it is. If you look at the postseason, 17 for the Solgalios and 16 for the New York Mets. Very close between the two. I believe Mew had the edge by a few points though, so I think it was roughly about 18 to about 14 or something like that. So very close. Anyone could have been that second spot, but really the second and third spot didn't matter as much because they battled each other anyway first round. So not the biggest deal there. But I think they played really well. We had a really close. The top 3 teams really fought hard and really were kind of like it switched pretty much every other week. So it was really good this season to see that competitiveness come out.
Yep. And sure. Does everyone know who the season 3 champion is?
Damien, do you want to clarify why you picked Clefairy as the best trade?
Why I picked Clefairy as the best? One thing is very cool is actually it being traded for, and Clefairy isn't a bad Pokemon to have on your team, and for it to have like it round out your team, because the thing is with that it's not only it can actually own healing, and it's no Pokemon to actually scoff at based on stats wise. So just adding Clefairy to it would be actually better for not only defensiveness but also on just a very easily side to say, hey, this is the Pokemon that's gonna probably save my life in later round. It's nothing to scoff.
Alright, well folks, before we close out the stream for the day, are you saying something to me?
I was gonna say I forgot him.
Okay, so we're moving on to the champion of the league, the person who won the playoffs. And you know what? I've given it to Damien the last season. So Tui, this is your season to name the champion. So go ahead and do so, my friend, when you are ready and when you are prepared.
The season 3 champions are the Virginia Cavaliers for 3rd season running.
Woo! Boys, we did it! 3 back-to-back championships. I'm so excited. Of course, this could have gone. This really could have gone either way, man. I almost lost in the semis, so it could have not been me really fast. But I want to say that I graciously accept this title because you guys put in some really nice work, make me work on my toes this season. It really could have came down to any one. The 4 teams in the finals, all of them had a really nice shot of winning this. So you know, I just got lucky. Semifinals, going to be honest, and then really good prep week for the finals. So that's all I got to say. But I really do appreciate you guys battling, and I really do appreciate the competitiveness of this season. Tui, say your stuff that you want to say about the champion and such.
The champion, as gracious as ever, battled hard. Got a sweep on the greatest team of all time.
The worst team of all time. Second worst team of all time.
There we go. Played well, probably worked the hardest as well. So a deserving victory, and I can't fault you. Congratulations. And I do agree with Super Mew. I think I was quite close to winning this season.
All right, Damien, your thoughts.
I do have to want to point out, I don't think it's as close as you want to call it there, too. Yes, for the third season in a row, I have to say to watch you. You've done well. You put your strategies to good use. I put their best in line, but this looks like you were just one step ahead, only by a mile. But if I want to be honest, I would say we have one more battle to actually get done there, Chaos, before you ultimately just rant and regularly take.
Yep. The last thing. Oh, that is
Yeah, no, I've asked to play it. Don't talk about it. Just go on. Dewey, what are you saying?
Have you pressed the shiny hunting screen, Mr. Chaos?
I might have. Just keep going. I pressed the number.
I would just like to thank everyone who battled this season, to Damien, as particularly the winner and the Commissioner of League Chaos for organising it. Doing such a good job.
Alright, Damien, you want to say anything else before we close it off?
There we go.
Yes. I do want to thank everyone for joining and participating. You actually guys did actually make this one of the smoothest, not the most difficult, Pokemon things we've done. And I do want to apologize for me being my bad. Thank you everyone for participating, and we hope to see you guys back again for.
Alright, folks. And one last thing I want to say. I want to say a big thank you to all the coaches this season. Myself, 2E5, Ender Mewtwo, Super Mew 9001, Neurotic Neutral Gaming, and of course my man Brian the Soul of Cthulhu. I appreciate all of you for joining this season, folks. I hope to get more people for the next season. And speaking of next season, folks, we're going to be starting that very, very soon. We're going to start again in the fall, working on draft to be started in October. So if you guys want to join, make sure you hit me up on Discord or hit me up on my Twitter DMs. Either way, let me know that you want to join, and I'm going to start making that Discord server very, very soon. And I'm also be working on some fixing of the tiers. As you've seen, we had some pretty busted things this season. So I'm going to be working on the tiers a little bit. I'm going to be working on some of the rules as well. So it's going to be great. And I really want to thank all of you for making this the best season of PDL so far. I would love to see you all again next season, and hopefully we can continue making this thing better and continue growing. And hopefully we get to see the Virginia Escavaliers. It won't be the Virginia Escavaliers, actually. That team is going to be retired this time. As per usual for me, I've been changing my team name. But this next season, it's time for me to announce I will be the coach of the Detroit Red Wingles for Season 4. So come join us at the Detroit Red Wingles, seek to get their fourth back-to-back championship. And hopefully you guys will come out there. But we got one last thing for you before we close out today.
Will win next season.
No, oh yeah, Tumi and I are going to be doing a season sometime this summer. Not a season. We're going to be doing a series sometime this summer where I will help him out with competitive battling. So hopefully he becomes a contender next season. I'd love to see that too. Well, last thing before we clear off today, make sure you guys come over to my Twitch channel at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today. We're going to be doing the Metronome Mini League on Showdown. We have a team. We have 8 competitors. Very excited to battle using only Metronome on Showdown. So come over and check it out. I will be streaming the whole event, and it'll be all till it's over, starting at 3 o'clock. We'll start drafting as soon as everybody's in the chat. So hopefully you guys decide to show up, and I'd love to see you over there. I'm going to let Tui go ahead and say anything else he wants to say before I close out with my usual outro and stuff. So, Tui.
Toodaloo.
Is that all you want to say?
Yeah.
Okay. So Damien, anything you want to close out this podcast with, my friend?
I'm just dumbfounded by the word toodaloo. I never heard that actually used in an actual sentence. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys, and we'll see you guys the next time we do something.
Alright, folks, and I want to say thank you for everyone who showed up in the chat. You guys are great. We've been trying to chat with you back and forth while we've been streaming. Of course, we're trying to go through the facts and stuff, so bear with us as we've been trying to get through it. But you guys are great. I love seeing you guys in the chat and being interactive. You guys are awesome, and I thank you all for coming out today. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below and also hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date with everything else going on this channel, as well as the PDL Season 4, as we will bring it to you next season. So I'm very excited for that. And of course, if you want to follow all the stuff that's going to be going on with the PDL, follow me on Twitter. I will be posting about it, as you guys have mentioned. I will be updating everything. I'll be trying to do the weeks, what positions we got every week, and all that stuff on Twitter. So go follow me over on Twitter. It is in the description down below, or you can type !Twitter and it'll bring it up for you. But make sure you do come out to Twitch tonight, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, to join in the Metronome Mini League. I would love to see you all out there, support these really great coaches, and we're going to have a lot of fun with you guys. And we will be doing Jackbox games afterwards, so you want to come out and check that out as well if you are excited for that too. So I will see you guys then. I will be glad to see you then, but of course I cannot say this league would go as smoothly as it has without my commissioners in deputy spots. So thank you to my council members, Tui and Damien, both for helping me out this season and really working hard behind the scenes, trying to help me figure out how to get things to work correctly. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining me for the podcast. As always, you guys are awesome, and I really do enjoy working with you. Of course, one other shameless plug I would like to get before Tui decides to do it for me. If you guys want to check out the Invisible Corporations, it is a new YouTube channel that all three of us work on. And if you type !IC in chat, it will bring that up. So go check that out. I'm currently doing a Sonic Let's Play on it. Tui and Damien, I believe, are doing some WWE stuff. So check that out as well.
Yes, we are.
And I really appreciate all that support as well. And I guess that's all I have to say. So I want to say thank you again for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Make sure you do hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button for more content from me. But that is all I have for you today. That's all we have for you today. So thank you for coming out, supporting the PDL Season 3. I will see you guys next season for some more content. And until then, folks, this is Chaos signing out with more 2E5 and Damien Dragon, the only Dragon God of Gaming. And I will see you guys very, very soon for some more content from me. Make sure you check out the Metronome Mini League at 3 over on my Twitch channel. Last time I'll say it. And thank you so much. So until next time, stay safe. And as always, folks, burn it up.